Yeah, yeah. What up, folks? Come on in. Impromptu live today with this MPC sample. Let me know where y'all watching from while we get going here. I'm just doing a couple of things on the back end of YouTube. But while I'm doing that, let me know where y'all watching from. Also, let me know whatever questions y'all got for with the MPC sample. We're gonna really talk about it today. Like dig deep about this for real. Just doing couple more things, and then I'm gonna be ready to like dig all the way in on this thing. Let me know what y'all think. Give me some questions, and we're gonna really dig into this in just a second. Let me know where y'all watching from. I'm about to tap in with y'all here in just a sec. Just a second, and we're gonna dig deep on this thing today. We're gonna get some definitive whatever. We're gonna get some definitive whatevers on this. Just gotta do some. We're gonna have some fun today. All right, I think I'm sweet. Let's see where y'all watching from. We got Montgomery, Alabama in the crib today. We've got the Netherlands in the crib today. We got Texas in the crib today. We got, I already said it behind. We got NYC. We got NYC. We got Roland, London. I guess I said that right. Roland. You gotta tell me how to spell that from another quick. But that's dope. Welcome to the stream. All right, let's have some fun while we're waiting on y'all to get in. Let's create a quick little track here. Let's see, jump over here. Let's go around. Let's see what we can do with this today. Y'all let me know. We're gonna dig in deep on this joint on today. Let's tap a tempo. Something different than what I was doing. Maybe something fast. About right there. What BPM is that? 144. Goodness. Maybe about 114. That sounds cool. Let's see what we got. All right. Mm. Love it. Love it. Love it. Welcome to the stream, boys and girls. This is going to be a fun stream. I'm excited. You guys, if you guys have been following what's going on with the MPC sample this week, you probably know that this joint dropped and it is like the newest like Jordan ones drop. Like it's like the iPhone, like when the iPhone dropped and it launched, like OG iPhone launch days. If you guys remember that situation, that how it used to be when the new iPhone dropped, that joint was crazy. People was lining up at Guitar Center, lining up, like grabbing all of the last ones. So I'm excited to get this joint out to you guys. Shout out to the Guitar Center for sending this over. They are official like channel sponsor, so they send gear. They don't have any kind of like say so over what my content is, what I think about it, what my opinion is on this. So that's like my little disclaimer to you guys. Like this is an honest, open kind of dialogue that we're going to have about this joint on today, and really talk about the ifs, ands, and buts about it. I'm sure you've seen it floating around. You probably watched a ton of videos. I'm not going to dig too much in specs. We'll talk about some things, but I'm not going to dig too deep in on the specs and things like that, because this joint leaked out like a couple of weeks ago, even before it launched. You know what I mean? And all of the specs was out there for everybody to see. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, we're going to dig in, and I'm going to talk about like this from a very specific place today. And I really want to talk to a specific niche of people, because I think all of the other niches have been kind of talked to, whether they're boom bap producers or you're a lo-fi producer or you're a sample based producer or you're just a regular smegular producer. You know what I mean? I think one category that hasn't been spoken to, which I think this category fits, this MPC fits for, is my church musicians. And not even just church musicians. I just use that as a blanket term, you know, to catch people's eye. But like performance-based musicians that need loop, like you play out live with loops, you know what I mean? Or you need something that's a central command center to like run click tracks, drum loops, whatever the case may be, to keep your band locked. Whether that's, I know there's corporate bands and stuff like that, they play with loops and they do all those things like that. So it's not isolated to the church musicians, but I feel like this is a niche that I can speak to very exclusively and with hyper exclusivity, you know what I mean, with that or what have you. So I'm going to really be digging in on that and how I think this fits into that space. Because if you don't know, the MPC, for those I have to talk to the people that are like like church musicians, because I know my audience is broad. But for the non-church musicians, the MPC has been a staple in church, specifically Black churches, for decades. We're talking 80s, 90s. I'd argue to say that the heyday is the early 2000s. There are still guys today that are rocking MPC 2000 XL. If you're one of those guys, let me know in the chat, in the comment section. If you're one of those guys that's still rocking the MPC 2000 XL, MPC 1000, you guys are still using that on a Sunday to Sunday basis. That is a thing. I just saw a video like 5 minutes before the stream, a reel. Where there was a guy playing an organ and there was an MPC 2000 sitting right there next to him. I'm talking about like posted 2 days ago. So the MPC has had its place and is a staple in the Black church for click tracks, rhythm tracks, drum loops, however you call them, to be to keep the band locked. You know what I'm saying, and to you know what I'm saying, provide that energy. You know what I'm saying. So it's a thing, and it's a real big thing. So with this particular unit, I have to say that if you're the guy that's running 2000, still running the 2000 XL, 1,000, even a 3,000. I know some people that are running 3,000 and 4,000s as church, to do their loops and stuff on Sunday. There's that guy that's or gal that's still doing that, and you haven't been able to come to that justification in your mind of should I buy the MPC one or a live three or whatever because it seems overkill for your situation. This particular unit is probably going to be the thing that's going to really, 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 really solve that problem for you, because the price point at $399 kind of does, gives us exactly what we need. And it's definitely like, if you've never been in the MPC world, this is definitely giving my first MPC. You know what I mean? You can definitely get this, and this gives you into this world or what have you. So that's kind of my spiel of what we're going to really be talking, who we're going to be talking to, and what we're going to be talking about today, and kind of exploring from that perspective. So I'm not going to be doing vibes. I'm not going to be like creating some crazy boom bap, vocal shot lo-fi right joint. I want to talk to my church heads. I want to talk to the people that's on the fence about doing this, about using this or what have you, or getting this for that. All right. So Live Nation, let me talk to you guys. Yeah. Thank you, Kenny, for making a mention. I got my shirt. I made the shirt. I could get the shirt. So we just dropped. I just did a merch drop. Let me put a link in the comment section for you guys really, really quick before I get too deep in it. I forgot that I had the shirt on already. You know what I'm saying? So I just did a quick little, let me drop this in here real quick, because you guys are here for some free information anyway. Somebody else might be interested in this shirt. So I want to put the link in the chat real quick for everybody who might be interested. So I just did this merch drop with this particular shirt. It's called I Play Too Much. Play too much, and then keys. You know what I'm saying? So I think this is super dope. I was excited to kind of put this together and get this out. It's available right now on Amazon. 2-day shipping, Kenny. That's how I was able to get it in so fast. Because if you order on Amazon, you get this 2-day shipping. I have it available right now. You can go grab it. I just put the link up. Let me put it in on Facebook, because I don't think I dropped it for my Facebook family. But let me put it in the Facebook chat real quick for you fellas and ladies that might be interested in just supporting your boy. You put it in here and pin it. I pin the comment. Or did I pin the wrong comment? Trying to make sure I pinned the right comment. I need to pin this comment. There we go. All right. So we're gonna dig in. Over here with this MPC sample. Let's see what you guys are saying in the comment section before I get too deep in. Yeah, thank you for the shirt. Yeah, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you. I Play Too Much. If you want to get the shirt link, I just dropped the link. Make sure you guys, why would we get this if we got Ableton? That's what we're going to talk about here in just a second. That's probably where I'm going to kind of start with this particular thing or what have you. Let me get up in here. He said the same BPM I just had. Hilarious. Where we at? I haven't, Brandon. I have not had a chance to play with that unit, with the Teenage Engineering joint. I've been seeing a bunch of like people comparing it to that. I have not had any experience with that unit, so I can't even really. I'm out of that conversation. Odell says, save your money and get an MPC 37 for resale. It's about 650 more IO and sounds. Absolutely. That's if you're trying to get into production, because this unit is a very specific niche of people, and more of an idea. Like if you're talking about it as a production unit, this is an idea starter. and it's not necessarily um, the thing that is going to be your full production unit. This isn't a full production unit. This is a on-the-go sampler, idea sketch pad. It could if on a production, depending on the type of producer you are. Now, if you're a sample-based producer completely, this is probably going to be able to get you like 100% of the way for the sample-based people. But for regular everyday producers, I'd say this is about a 40 to 60% solution, you know what I'm saying, on production. So if you're wanting to like really get in and have do some really real production, yeah, you want to get something like a 37, you know what I'm saying, on this or what have you. Let's see what we got here. My man says link to my mic. It's a Hollyland. This is made by Hollyland. You ain't even got the brand line. Lark something. Hollyland Lark. If you go to Amazon and type in Hollyland Lark, and it's little clip mic, they clip on your, clip mic or whatever. That's that or whatever. Appreciate that, my guy. MPC Live 2 would be a better choice, or but even better choice. Absolutely. If you're just getting into that. Yes, true to his intro level. Absolutely. What's up, my guy? What it do? Stefan Goodwin, the man that wins good. All right. So let's talk about this. Let's talk about this and where I feel like it fits in and why my specific, because it's a niche that I kind of live in, church musician, born and bred in this whole world, you know what I mean? And so I've been getting a lot of people. I put up a post the other day where people were, asking basically specifically from a church framework, what and how and who this is for and if this could work. And my, assertion of this, and I said it earlier, is that I believe if you're the guy or gal that's been rocking the MPC like 2000 XL for like loops and stuff like that, then this is probably the perfect upgrade for you. You know what I mean? If you're the guy or the type that needs or wants hardware to produce or create loop tracks, run tracks in church, then this is probably like one of the best units that you could get for the price. Talking about $400 to get into the game, and it's got some really cool features that we're going to talk about. That's going to really, be intriguing. Now, first off, as far as like what I will talk about in terms of specs of what it has that really leans into our niche and what we do as a performance-based musicians, is that it has a built-in battery. This has a 5-hour battery life on it. I've tested it. I've just set it on a desk and let it run, just let it sit there for like, hours on end, and it will literally last. It will sit there and last for 5 hours. So if, again, talking to my church musicians and people that performance, this could easily get you through a gig, a church service. Maybe if you're not Pentecostal, it can definitely get you through a church service just on battery alone if it's fully charged. And even if it's not, it has USB-C. So you can easily, like plug up your iPhone charger to it and continue, rocking it or whatever. Just basic USB-C, and it charges up pretty fast even in that. But it has batteries, and it can be used as an audio interface as well, which is really, really dope to me, because when you plug it up to your computer or whatever the case may be, it shows up in like Logic or Ableton or whatever as a full audio interface. And you can, use the outs, and you can use all of that. You can even use it to record in. So even if you're not planning on using this as a performance tool, you can definitely use it as a creation tool to be able to create your tracks, on here, record them into Ableton, record them or record them here, export them out into an Ableton, export them out into a Logic or whatever your preferred method is of running tracks. Personally, if I'm using this, if I've created the loop on here and I would much rather probably just use this as my unit. And I think the other thing that's really dope about this spec wise is the size. This is really small, like really, really small. I don't think you guys understand how small this is. Like, okay, for reference, first my hand. This is my hand. Look at this. My hand, I can literally hold this thing in the palm of my hand. Literally. Like it is a palm of your hand unit. So it's super small. And this is going to forever live in my backpack. Like absolutely forever live in my backpack. Like it's just gonna stay in there. And I keep a USB-C like power bank thing in my backpack at all times. So even if it goes dead, I can turn it on and plug up my power bank and get to cooking with this or what have you. So it's really small. So backpack, dare I say fanny pack, you know, fanny pack size. Like this is my iPhone 16, like my iPhone 16 Pro Max or whatever. This, look at this. It's like, look at the size of my iPhone compared to this. This is a Pro Max now, but at the same time, it's like pretty much the same size. I thought I had my iPad over here as another reference, but even better reference. Everybody has one of these. Focusrite interface, right? Your Focusrite, the Focusrite, the joint, the GOAT audio interface for live musicians. Look at this. Look at the Focusrite size compared to this, bro. Like, come on. Like, it's the size of a 2i2. You know what I mean? Like, it's small, like small, really small. So that's the benefit to it versus a Live 3 versus a Live 2 versus a 37. This is definitely the most compact, small, portable MPC that you will ever see. Just period, just point blank period. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's just small, and it will work for that. Has a built-in speaker. It's nothing worth writing home to mama about. Like the speaker that's built into it is not going to be like um the best speaker you've ever heard. It's definitely nowhere near like the Live 2 or Live 3 built-in speaker that they have in there. But it's a great reference speaker for when you're out. You know what I mean? Being able to sit in your car and bang out a track. Like you could pull up to rehearsal 5, 10, 15 minutes before rehearsal, sit out in your car with this speaker, built-in speaker, and just bang out a few loops before rehearsal or whatever. You know what I mean? Like sitting in your lap because it's battery powered. That's what I love about it and why I think it lends very well to our niche as something, you know what I'm saying, that we can really get down and dirty with. All right. So let me see what else we got here. Comments with, because I'm taking, this is live. We're walking through this piece by piece, and we're gonna be able to do this. My man said, I'm still using an MPC 500. Is it worth the upgrade? Oh, heck yeah. Heck yeah. Heck yeah. MPC 500 or 5,000. I don't think did they make a 5,000? MPC 500, anything below an MPC Live or MPC One Plus, I would say is definitely worth the upgrade. If you're on anything below an MPC One Plus or an MPC Live One, like the MPC Live, any of the newer generation MPCs, it's most definitely worth the upgrade. If you're on any MPC that's not an MPC OS MPC, because this isn't an MPC OS MPC. Like if you're in MPC world, like the new MPC world, you know what I'm talking about. When I say MPC OS, it is like their operating system, like MPC 2, MPC 3, whatever. It's like basically a DAW in the box. This isn't a DAW in the box. This is a scratch pad, scratch tool kind of type thing. If you're on a One Plus, a Live, any of the versions of the Live, a 37, a XL, any of those, you know what I'm saying? Um, this is more of a downgrade, and the only way you would get, only way I would see or tell somebody that they should get an MPC sample and you already got the bigger MPCs is if you're an enthusiast and this form factor like speaks to you and you want a scratch pad to be able to create tracks on the go, you know what I mean? Then this is that. But if you're like on a Live 3, I mean, that's got built-in battery. It's just a way, all of those are just way OD compared to this. You know what I'm saying? This is like a specific um, type thing or whatever. So I wouldn't play too much into the hype and the gas that's kind of out there right now if you're like on some of the bigger MPCs, because this will probably frustrate you in some areas. It's definitely frustrated me in a bunch of areas, and I'm glad to talk about those areas where it frustrates me in. I'm gonna try to get to that in this particular live. But if it will frustrate you in a ton of different areas, if you're coming from the main MPC OS, and it's not really backwards compatible in the sense of like, don't think that you're gonna, if you're an MPC Live 2, Live 3, any of the above aforementioned MPCs, that you're gonna come from any of those MPCs, you're going to be able to drop a project from that into here and just have your project be portable. It's not that. You know what I mean? You can't like, you can send your projects now, but you can't. There's no instruments on here. There's some plugins, but they're plugins exclusive to this particular unit. So anything that you're using MPC OS wise, you know what I mean? Arrangements and full complex things. There's nothing complex is going to come out. The best you could do is export your kits, your samples, your drum loops. If they're just loops, if they're just samples, you can export those things down for a performance situation, but not really like um exporting full projects into this thing. You know what I mean? So that's that. But if you're like on an OG MPC, pre MPC OS, and you're thinking like, hey, I want to um you know what I'm saying? I'm ready to upgrade, been ready to upgrade for a while, wanted to get a new MPC. I need something on the go. This is probably something that's gonna really like intrigue you and get you to that next space. Oh, man, I appreciate you, my dude. Like anybody who wants to get the shirt, make sure you grab that. I play too much shirt. Um, I play too much. I really do. Make sure y'all support that or what have you. Link is up there. My man says, so this is good for loops in church. That is I believe that this is one of the real niches that if you're a church musician, this is something that's going to speak to you. I'm going to do some demos here in a second and show you guys what I'm talking about. But I want to make sure I get some of these questions out of the way. Good starter kit for my grandson. I do believe if you are just getting into, like I told you, I told my friend the other day, and I said it earlier, so this is giving my first MPC. If you really want to get somebody into beat making, or you've been on the fence about buying an MPC for years, this is probably the one that you want to get. This will get you into the game. My man says this is perfect for running loops. The size is nice with the newer MPCs. They are really powerful. I'm starting to use my MPC one as a sound module. Custom, exactly. So if you need that kind of stuff, then you want to go with the bigger MPC. This is not that. This doesn't have any like sounds built into it. You can't run. I think you can play MIDI. It has MIDI in and out. You can like plug a MIDI controller up to it in an about way, and trigger the sounds in here via MIDI. But even if you could load in a very complex instrument, the thing only has 32 note polyphony, like 32 notes. So it's not going to be conducive for like trying to actually really do anything, any real playing with this. You know what I'm saying? No, it is small, bro. iPhone, MPC sample, MPC sample, iPhone, really small. Like I cannot really do it like justice. I need something else that can. Let me show you guys something. Hold on, give me a second. Don't go anywhere. Y'all don't go nowhere. Let me grab my iPad real quick. I got it plugged up over here. Just don't go nowhere. Just because I left the screen, don't y'all leave the stream. Y'all stay on the stream. I'm just grabbing my iPad. That's all I'm doing. Had to walk across the room. All right, we back. iPad Mini, boys and girls. iPad Mini. iPad Mini. MPC sample. Like, look at this. Look at this. This is an iPad Mini. Like, I have it in my hands. I can palm my iPad Mini. iPad Mini MPC sample. Like, what? It's small. Like, when I say it's small, it is small, bro. Like, small. Again, for reference, iPad Mini MPC sample, bro. Small, dog. It is so small. It is so very small. It is ridiculous. Like when you pick it up, you actually, like when I first got it, before I really dug into it, I thought it was a toy. I said, this is a joke. Like they really think people are gonna like this. This is a joke. But as I really started digging into it, I was like, no, it's actually pretty dope. It's not a joke, it's dope. It's really dope. But you gotta hold it yourself. You gotta get to Guitar Center if they're not sold out of it, and you gotta see it for yourself. It's small. Like it's pocketable. Like if you got the right size of baggy jeans, pockets, you could probably fit this joker in a pair of overalls if you got them. OG overalls, pair of good baggy jeans. You could probably fit it in your pocket. Like it could definitely fit in a fanny pack if you got a nice little one of them little joints that just kind of go over them the little joints. Y'all know what I'm talking. I call them a fanny pack. You can put that joint in there. Backpack, bro. You can put this is backpack gear all day for producers. Library capacity and can you connect an external hard drive? No, you cannot connect an external hard drive. It has a SD card slot on the side, a mini SD card slot right there. I have a 256 SD card slot in here. SD card in there works just fine. Holds all of the samples that I need for it to hold. It's really, really dope for that. So that's how you get samples in and out. It has 8 gigs of internal memory, but I'll talk about this later. It is very difficult to access that internal memory. Like you can't plug it up to your computer and like dump files off of your computer into the internal file structure. You have to, everything external is either coming in from the sampler, like you're sampling it in, or you are running it from the SD card. All right. Coming from the Live 3, I love the workflow of the MPC sample. The MPC sample forces you to be creative and think outside of the box with limitations. Most definitely does. There's like this thing what they call healthy limitations. Because here's the thing that they don't tell you that people aren't talking about as much. This is a one-track sequencer. This is a one-track sequencer. Let me say it again. One track. So if I'm creating something here, let me just create a new sequence or whatever. If I'm creating something, let me give me another tempo. That's probably the same tempo, but whatever. So I got that. Let me try that again. Let me shift, undo that because I started that in the middle of the thing. Right, you got that right? All I'm doing is recording. All I'm doing is recording in one track here. It's one track sequencer. those aren't multiple tracks. Those, so like if I export this out into like a bigger MPC or whatever, or into MPC software, that is not going to show up as like multiple tracks. It's going to show up as one sequence on one track. It's one track. That's what it is. So you have a one track sequencer on this thing. It's not multiple tracks. It's not multiple anything. This is just one track. Even if you're exporting a file out, it does not export out stems. You know what I mean? Like, so this whole thing, this whole sequence, that's not stem. If I export this out, I can't, there's no option to export this out as stems. It only exports out as a single wave file, single standard stereo wave file. That's all that's going to come out of that. Now you could probably import it into like a bigger MPC, and then you can explode the tracks into separate. You know, you can do the whole explode thing, but that requires having either the MPC software, which I don't believe comes with this, and or a bigger MPC. You know what I mean, to be able to like actually stem it out. Now, you know what I'm saying? Otherwise, you're just working with one track of audio slash, you know, MIDI or whatever the case may be. You know, so that's a limitation that this thing has, and that's one of the reasons why I think it works best. Just my space, my assertion. I'm just a regular guy, but I think it works best. That's why I really pointed towards the church musicians, because for live performance, you know what I'm saying? Live performance specifically, you don't need like multi-track, like for running loops and stuff like that. Just running loops. I'm not talking about running stems. I'm talking about the guy, the gal that utilizes. You pull up on Sunday morning and you got your loops, and you literally just go, then song 2, then y'all do a bump, then the song or whatever is that, then you do a 6/8 worship joint. You know what I'm saying? It works great for that, because that requirement is just to have the loop to be able to play, press the button, trigger the loop, y'all, and it loops all day long, and then you run and you do your loops, and you just, you know, have good church or whatever. You have a good live performance or a good concert or whatever. This could handle that space that I think a lot of musicians are in. Even if you're the guy, well, let me not get too deep in there. Let me finish answering these questions. Then I want to really get into like the functions and who's this for, because I don't want to go too. Yeah, size of an iPad mini, bro. Uh, my man said nope. I don't know what you said nope to, but you said nope. How would you go about putting melodies on top in this portable setup? You would have to get, the only way to do it, you can sample something in, and then you could put it in like 16 16 levels, and then you can play using the pads. That could work, but it's, you know, it's not intuitive. You can also hook up a MIDI controller. Very convoluted way to do that. Won't even get into that, because that's not even like your average. You're not gonna be doing that out in the field anyway. Um, you would need to just export it into a bigger MPC or load it into Logic and keep producing there. It's not really meant, it gears really heavy towards the sample based producer, that you're the guy, because the chop mode is in here and it's really, really dope. Being able to chop, record a sample in, chop it up against the pads, and be able to like do that whole thing. That's the workflow that they're trying to get to, with different people, but it's not really for production. Like, you're not going to be able to really, like, when I'm talking to producers, like arrangers, composers, like people who really like, you need all of this stuff to be able to really make a joint. That's not what this is. This is like, I'm out in the field. I want to like sample something real quick, like pull up my phone, you know what I mean, and sample stuff. Like, you could do that. You could plug up your phone via like USB-C, and you can play some chords on GarageBand or whatever, but you're still going to sample it to a pad, and then you could play it in that way. Um, like somebody said earlier, it just kind of forces you to try to be creative in a different way. You know what I mean? So that's kind of a thing. No, I don't think they're going to add key groups or anything to this. I don't think this is going to be something that is going to. I think what you see is what you get right now. What it is what it is, and what it ain't is what it ain't at this point. This is what it is. They're not going to give you built-in instruments. You're not going to be able to load pianos in here and organs and keyboards and synth sounds and leads. And this is not going to be like a mini MPC one or anything like that. You're not going to be able to load plugins and really mix. This is a one-track sequencer. There's no way to stem it out. There's no way to stem your tracks out like that. Where can you do multi-tracks? Where is that at? Because I have not. I've had this lint unit for 3 weeks. I got the pre-release unit. There's no multi-tracks on this. Like, it gives the appearance that you have multi-tracks, but this is not multi-tracks. Like, I can pull up. What's that loop I created earlier? Right, I got this right. I can go back to my sample mode if I want to like mix my kick. I can push this up. I can take it out. You know what I'm saying? And then I can say, maybe I don't want this clap to be as loud. I can blend that in. This isn't multiple tracks. This is one tracks, one sequence. When you export it out to a bigger MPC, like I exported this file to my MPC Key 61, everything is in one sequence on one track. When I imported this into MPC OS, not OS, but MPC 3 on my computer, it's one track, one sequence with everything there. The best I could do is explode it out into multiple tracks, but it's not multi-tracks. Unless there's something I missed in a firmware update or something. Yes, that I've done that. I just talked about that. Man, I don't want to get too lost in there where we at. I know you guys got a lot of questions. I did a live stream this morning where I recorded Oberheim synth with the MP sample, created 2 whole songs. It's super dope. Like I said, it could be done. It could definitely be done, especially if you're sampling them in. They are adding the ability to convert over to MPCs and software in April. Gotcha. Okay. That's something I didn't see in the, I haven't got that. Maybe they did that. Maybe they said that in another video or email or something that I missed. It says, oh, really? See, I've been putting it through the paces. I hadn't really done anything crazy. You said they both froze when I copied the second sequence to the third. Interesting. I had to hold the power button down for 5 seconds to turn up everything. Yeah, it saves in the background, which is really, really dope. You know what I'm saying? Yes, you could definitely do that. That would probably be like the workaround. Classic MPC swing, yes, it does have that. It has swing. I'm gonna show you that, guys, in a second. Can you sequence with an external MIDI keyboard like a Modi X? Yes, you can, because it has MIDI in and MIDI out. You have to use, I had it here. I don't know what I did with it. It's like a little MIDI. It's like on the back here, like the MIDI port is a 1/8 inch thing. So you have to have like one of those things where you plug it in and then plug the MIDI to it. You can play the sequences in and trigger the pads and trigger the samples, like put it in 16 levels and play. I played around with that. It was a little wonky. It's not worth the hassle, I would say. Not for this. It's not really worth the hassle to try to connect the external keyboard to this little thing. It's just not worth the hassle. It really isn't. It really, really isn't. Like, I even tried plugging up my Akai MPK Mini to it. and it's not bus powered. It doesn't give bus power. It's bus powered, but it doesn't give power off the unit. So I can't like plug up my MPC MPK mini, like my MPK mini keyboard, like a little. I think I got one back here, not a big one, but like I couldn't. What would be deal? Let me get this from back there. Jesus, like something like this. This is my little Donner MIDI controller that I keep. I take this with me a lot when I go out on the road. But it's USB-C. Like I can't plug this to the MPC sample and get power to this, and you know what I'm saying, like play anything into that from here because it won't power. Like I can't power this from here. I'd have to power. There's just no way I could use this because there's only one way to power this. So you'd have to power it, and then I'd have to send MIDI off of this some kind of way into the back of the MPC, and it's just not worth it. It's just really not worth it. You know what I'm saying, for that sort of thing. You can do multiple tracks in a DAW because if I jump over here, let me see if I can get over here to Logic. Why isn't Logic popping up? There we go. You could do multiple tracks in a DAW because in Logic, as an example, the MPC shows up as an input device, right? Shows up as an input device. And so I could easily just press record here. You know what I'm saying? You're hearing some doubling there, but it's in there. And I could literally record from the MPC sample into Logic. You know what I'm saying? Or into any DAW. So it's super dope for that. Super dope for that. That's one way that I definitely would use it. And it works as a MIDI controller as well. You know what I'm saying? So I can also, let me show you guys that. Let me go back real quick. It works as a MIDI controller as well. So I think I have this set to, yes. So if I turn down the MPC sample, I have it set as a MIDI controller. And I can trigger Logic drum kit. I can trigger this from the sample. So I can record and send MIDI, there or what have you. Or like even, if I wanted to, like Peculiar Sounds as an example, like I'm just pulling this up, just a thing. I could do that if I want to. So you can use it as a MIDI controller. So that's really, really dope to me that you can do those sorts of things with it. Using it as a MIDI controller, using it as a recording the audio straight off the unit from the USB-C straight into like Logic or whatever. So that makes it really, really dope for that sort of thing or whatever. Yep, no support for MPK Mini over USB. It's very small, like I talked about earlier. iPad Mini, MPC sample, very small. When you hold it, I'll be honest with you, it feels like a toy. When I pick this up in my hand, it's giving Fisher Price for MPC. I'll be honest with you. When you pick it up, look at my hand. It's about the size of my hand. It's a small little. It feels like a little toy in your hand. It really does. Not gonna hold you. Feel is one thing. Functionality is another. I applaud the engineering of it because they were able to pack so much into this little form factor that makes it really, really interesting to me. You know what I'm saying? They would have packed so much in here that is crazy. Now, by it also being so small, One of the other things that's a problem is like everything is a shift. I'm just giving you guys a good perspective since we're kind of on this train. Let me tell you guys about like a lot of the issues and problems that people aren't really talking about with this in everyday use, because they're getting in and they're like the vibe. I sat in my car on the way from Guitar Center while I was driving, bro. I was making a beat. Yes, it's dope for that. It is super inspiring to use, but it can also be frustrating when you're first getting around with it, because um, for all of its things that it's really good at, there's a lot of little workarounds that you have to figure out and understanding the workflow. And so I've been spending the last couple of weeks, because again, Guitar Center sent this over, not a Kai, but a Guitar Center sent this over for me to do a review with. Um, Partner of the channel, feel free to support them. Um, the shift, you live and die by the shift. And I'm working on a masterclass with this, where I'm going to actually drop my whole workflow with this MPC, what I've kind of figured out, sitting with it for the third. It's like almost 3 hours worth of content that I've recorded that I'm still editing through. Hopefully I'll have that out next week. That's my plan, along with a kit for this thing as well. But it does feel toyish. I'll be honest with you. I'm not going to gas it. I'm not going to make y'all feel like this is like the dopest thing I've ever like held in my hand. I'm going to be quite honest with you. When I picked it up for the first time and took it out the box, I was flabbergasted at how small it was. Really was. And I also felt like it was a little Fisher pricey, just being honest with you. But after sitting with it for like 2 or 3 days, really digging into it, creating some tracks, loading samples in, figuring out the workflow, understanding all of the shifting that has to happen for you to do, understanding my healthy limitations with this, understanding the vibe of it and what it's for and how to sample and how to do this and how to do that, and how to operate this, how to move around. I was very, very, very impressed with it after spending some good time with it and understanding what it is. But you can literally pull this thing out the box, turn it on, and within 10 seconds of turning it on, you can create. That's dope. Um, but yeah, it does feel a little bit. I would be very careful. I feel like I need a case for it. Like somebody needs to make like outer box, however you say it, case for this thing. Because once you put it in your book bag, this is gonna get. It's plastic. It's not metal. There's no metal on it. It's the little plastic little thing. It's the consummate build. It feels like a you know sub $500 device. It feels like that. Um, that I'm not trying to like dunk on it. Please don't hear that. I don't want anybody to think that I'm like, because I know everybody's gas on this thing right now. And I don't want to be like the Debbie Downer, but I have to be honest with people that are asking questions about it. I don't think it's a toy. It feels like a toy, but I don't think it's a toy. You can get some work done with it. It's interesting. Can you record audio through USB from a keyboard such as Modi X? You absolutely can. You can actually even record audio straight from like a DAW. So let me give you guys another example since I got Logic open here, right? So let's say that I want to sample in, let's pull up, I'm gonna pull up Peculiar Sounds again. I'm gonna pull this up. Let's say I want to sample this in, and to do so, let me grab this controller and plug it up real quick so I can play a chord. Let's make sure that. Right, octave. All right, let's say that that's what we want to do. We want to sample something like that in, right? So what I could do is go to my settings. I can set the MPC sample as the audio out device, the output device, right? So now, um, get back in here. Now that audio that you're hearing is coming into the MPC sample, right? So then I could go to an empty pad bank here, tap here, hit sample record, right? Tap this pad. It says waiting for signal, and I can literally just like that. Oh, wait a minute. I don't think I set my, oh yeah, it did. No, it's right there. There it is. There's a sound. Just like that. Then I can play another chord in right here. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Then I can 16 level that. Whatever. You know what I mean? So you can definitely, you know what I'm saying, kind of get down and dirty with it in that way. You know what I'm saying? Just being able to do those sorts of things. I know I think I played a bad note in that chord, but whatever. You get the point of what you can do with it. So that's kind of that. Clear these pads out. I don't want that in there in this particular project or whatever. So that's the thing with that or whatever. You can record, you could hook up anything and play a chord, play a melody, play something into it, a lead line or whatever. You can easily record that. But being able to do it, you have to have a way to plug the audio. So you plug up a Modi X or Phantom into the input jacks, and then you would just play it in and record it in as audio that way. You know what I mean? But it wouldn't do MIDI, not like that, not without some kind of crazy, insane workaround. You know what I mean? Pads are touch sensitive. It comes with 100 kits built in. We're going to look at some of that in a second. You have to, it does come with kits. It does come with kits. They don't talk about how to access them. In order to get to the kits, this is one of my qualms with this particular thing. Kits are attached to projects. So to get to a kit, you got to hold shift, hit pad 16. You got to go to load project, and then you got to go to kits. So every kit is attached to a project. And to load a kit, you got to load a project. That's one of the issues that I have with this unit. It's not like a preset thing, but I think that's OG MPC workflow. I was talking to somebody else that's like been on MPC for a long time, and they said that's like OG MPC workflow. So I'm like, all right, cool. I guess that's what they were going for. So like, praise the Lord. It's 2026. We're going back to 1986. Praise the Lord. That's what they wanted to do. So you can access kits. There's 100 of these loaded in here. Saving and accessing files is weird because it's not something that probably this workflow is not something that most people are going to be accustomed to. It took me a minute to figure out that when you create a new project, it clears everything, and then you can load a kit in. It's very weird. I'm gonna do a video that's just on that talks about my qualms. Like, I don't want to like convolute it right here and unpack it, but there's a lot of issues with like saving your files and accessing. Building kits are slower. You know what I mean? There's no way to like drag and drop a kit like from your computer into this. You have to use like the MPC software. Maybe you could do that, but most people who get this unit, it doesn't come with the MPC software, so you can't really do that. So I had to do some workarounds to like load a full kit over here. Otherwise, you got to build your kit like sample by sample, and then the only way to get samples onto the unit is to put it in SD card. Like if I want to get my samples off of my computer. Let me show you guys what this process looks like. So I got to be honest with you, because I know there's a lot of gas out here and a lot of people are talking about this and there's nothing wrong with that. Like, I'm not trying to like crap on it or nothing. You know what I'm saying? What happened here? Felt like I lost. What happened here? I want to show, come on. Let me go to primary display. How about that? Boom. There it is. All right. If I want to access my samples, right, I have to go to Shift, Pad 16. Got to go down to SD card access, hit that, right? And then after a few seconds, boom, my SD card shows up. I can click on that. Then I got MPC sample. I have to put it in this samples folder, right? I have to put my samples in this folder right here under samples, right? So I have to do that. And then once I do that, I gotta eject the SD. Like I gotta eject the SD. Come out of SD card mode, right? Get out of SD card mode. Now, when I go back to sample mode and then go pad, empty pad here, sample select, external rather, sound mic hit. Now I got access to my samples, right? So, and then I can start loading them in on pads and start building my kit on the unit utilizing that method, but I still have to build it pad by pad, sample by sample, you know what I mean, to build that kit. And then I can save that kit on the unit or on the SD card, what have you. That's the way to like get samples on and off this unit. It's kind of convoluted. So if you're like the type of cat that likes, you know, kind of easy drag and drop workflow, boom, 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 working fast like that, you're not going to be able to work as fast on this. You're going to have to kind of take your time and kind of do it the old school way, so to speak. This is quickest and the easiest way to get samples on here is just to record them in. Like grab your phone, pull up Splice, the Splice app on your phone, hit a pad, hit sample record, press the thing, sample it in. That's the quickest way to build a kit. You could probably do that in like 45 seconds. If you got your samples queued up, you can go sample record, boom, sample 2, boom, sample 3, boom, sample bap, swoop, bap, 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 and just record your samples in that quick. That would probably be the quickest and easiest way to get samples on here versus trying to like do it from the computer. It was frustrating for me, and I'm a techie. I am a techie of techies. I'm a software developer. I code for a living, like, and it frustrated me. So these are just things to keep in mind about it. I promise you, my church musicians, I'm going to get to like the reason for this stream about church, you know, using this for church. I know a lot of you showed up for that. So I'm going to get to how you use it for church or whatever. Let's see here. What we got here? So from the samples, you make programs to transport to larger MPCs. Yes, you make projects, like it's an XPJ file or something like that you can export, import it. I was able to create something over here, and I was able to import it into my Key 61. I have the Key 61. I was able to import it into the Key 61. That was not too hard. Didn't really take too much effort to do that. Once I save the project, which means I create the project, I go, once I've done with the project, again, Shift, everything is done with Shift. There's no like save buttons or anything like that. Shift, Pad 16, and then save project. You know, I hit save project and I save that project in to my external. You have to save it to the external because you can't access the internal. So you have to have an SD card in here. You have to have a micro SD card at that in here. Save it to the external. I had to, it promised you. These are things that frustrated me over the first few days of having this. Save it to the external. Then plug it up to your MPC. You can literally just plug USB-C straight into the back of your MPC, whatever you got. And then go to places and then you'll see the files in there or whatever. But you have to save it to the SD card. They do not allow you to access the internal memory. So if you create a bunch of projects, let's just say you was on your way home from Guitar Center, you're that guy. I'm driving and making beats. I'm driving with it on my dashboard and I am creating vibes at the stoplight, bro. Like I had a friend that literally called me and said that. Literally, that's a phone call that actually, I wish I could have recorded it. That's a phone call that happened this week. Like when he got it, he said, bro, I'm leaving from Guitar Center right now and I'm making beats on the way home. And then I got home. He's like, dude, I made 3 beats on the way home from Guitar Center with the MPC sample, dog. That was an actual conversation this week. What he found out, as I had to tell him once he got there, he was trying to figure out how to get the files off the projects that he just saved off the unit into his bigger MPC so he could do some stuff with it, continue developing the idea. And I was like, he's like, I can't access where I saved them. I was like, where'd you save them at? I saved them. I just hit save and I saved them. And I was like, where did you save them at? I just saved them on the unit. I said, did you save them to the SD card? I don't have an SD card. I was like, you have to save it to the SD card. You must save it to the SD card. That is the only way that you're going to be able to access it off of the unit, from the unit. Like you can't plug this up USB-C to the to your MPC and it's going to show you that. It does not work like that. You have to have a micro SD card. You have to save the projects to the SD card. Then you can access them on something else. So he had to leave, go to Walmart, find a micro SD card, because who has those laying around? Who just has a micro SD card just laying around somewhere, that they're not using? He had to go buy a brand new micro SD card, stick it in there. Then he came back home, stuck it in there, formatted it, and then he was able to move his projects from the internal to the external. And then he was able to transfer them to his bigger MPC to do some more work with them. These are the things that people aren't talking about. These are the things that people aren't telling you. They're just, I'm on my way home from Guitar Center and I'm cooking up beats, my guy. I made 3 beats on the way home. And he got home and realized that he couldn't get the beats off the unit. Same goes for exporting files. Like if you cook something up and you want to export the wave and you export it, where did it go? Well, boys and girls, it went into the samples folder on the internal MPC under exports, under samples, under kits, or wherever it goes. It goes to a weird place. Same thing if you save it on external. You don't know. It's not transparent where it goes. You have to figure out where it went. Then you can transfer that wave file. It's not stems, just the wave file, just the 2-track to wherever you're trying to send it to or whatever. So it's interesting, very interesting. It's very interesting little situation. Those are the cons of this unit. I don't know how we got deep off, and I guess because I'm answering everybody's questions that they actually have, because these aren't things that people are talking about in the video. Like they're just pulling up on you and they're just. And they're like, I made 3 beats in 5 minutes. I mean, you can. It's really exciting. It's really cool. And they made it really intuitive for instant creation. But once you get into it as a real arranger, a real producer, a real whatever you call yourself, you start to hit these limitations really, really, really fast because of what we're used to, how technology is advanced. And what they're doing is calling this back to the OG MPC 60, which I think is dope. I think it forces you, someone said it earlier, these healthy limitations force you to be creative in a different way, because it's like, okay, if I was in 1985 and I was trying to cook up something, how would I do it then? It puts you back in there. But we're in 2026 and most of us are coming from software down to hardware, and with a unit like this, and you're like, oh my God, what in the whole heck? What in the world? How do I do this? I'm used to this. I'm used to doing it this way. I'm used to a faster paced workflow. And when I have to shift this, shift that, shift this, shift, turn knobs, shift, oh, the knob, I got to turn the knob all the way over here. Then I can turn. It's a lot of really crazy little, small little idiosyncrasies with this thing that are both dope and frustrating at the same time. I'm being honest with you. I don't know if anybody's been honest with you this week. Honest with you this week about it. I could be totally off, and I might be missing a software update, a firmware update, or something that added all of these features in. Or next week, this all could become irrelevant because Akai could drop something on us that just changes the entire workflow. I don't know, but as of today, as of right now, this is kind of where we stand with it. Let's see what we got. Classic MPC swing. Somebody asked me about that. I apologize. So yes, you can do the classic MPC swing. You have to go into sequence mode. So let me find something that's slower. That's 87. So let's take this for whatever. Right here in the corner with this knob is the swing. So I can turn this knob to the swing. Now the problem is with the swing, this knob is right here in the middle. This is another thing with the unit. This knob is in the middle. I start turning it, it does not catch. Like, it doesn't catch. Like, so the swing doesn't start moving. But when I turn it, you can't see. You might can see it on the unit. You see this little bitty little thing blinking here when I turn the knob? It's telling me to turn the knob all the way this way. That's what it's telling me to do. Turn the knob this way, John. You want to do the swing? To turn the knob this way first. Then you can do it. So I got to turn the knob all the way down. Now I can adjust the swing. You might can see that little line moving up, right? So I can turn the swing here. So let's do it in real time. There's your swing. And I think you can change the different type of swing. But either way, the results may vary depending on what kind of loop it is. But it does have the swing in there. That's it. Just the swing. If I had a different loop that was a little bit less complex, you probably would be able to hear it a little bit better. Does it have the sound of the 2000 XL, the warmth, or it's similar to just a portable machine? Now, I think it's way more. It's warm. Like the drums hit, and it has like a compressor on it that you can activate. Like I think I already have it activated on this particular project. So if I hit shift and hit compressor, let's bypass. That's with the compressor activated. That's without it. So it sounds really, really cool. Now, a lot of that grit that comes from the MPC 2000 XL is like the age of those transistors. It's a almost 30-year-old machine. So you're going to get a little bit more grit out of it, more saturation out of it because that unit is well worn. But this doesn't sound bad. And it has built-in limiters. You can put a limiter on it. You can put a limiter on it. You can put a compressor on it. You can like drop it, and it's got a bus compressor that you can activate because I can go to shift and hit effects select and choose different effects that they've got to put on the pads, to put on the entire mix. It's cool. It's just, again, there's a lot of shifting that has to happen to get into that. But for me, I mean, it sounds like weighty when I play it. Like when I played it through my speakers in my control room, where my sub is, like it feels weighty to me. Like in a situation, I think it could do really, really well. My man said, You should just sample a whole church service like a slow made, fast upbeat joint and include some shouting loops. This would be great. Oh yeah. I'm gonna show you guys some loops that I created in a second. 2026. Yeah, that's funny. We're going backwards. We're going back to 86. Let's go back to 86. That's what we need to do. You said I know you did an NBC sound. I probably said something that upset somebody. If you're sampling, this is well. Here's my problem. I'm I don't again. I'm not trying to dunk on this. I really am not. I love it. I love it way more than you think. But I've spent a lot of time with it. You know what bothers me? This is this is great for portable sampling, recording, creating tracks. But they also have the IMPC app for iPad, for iPhone that could do functionally a lot more than this can do. And so when it's I don't want to dig down in that well too deep. I'm gonna do another video that where I really focus on that. I don't want to like take away the shine and deflate the balloon because this does offer a little bit different workflow. Um, I still even with its qualms, I still recommend it. I'm not like trying to dunk on it, but I'm trying to be honest with what I've experienced and the roadblocks because I know people. I'll drop my after this video if I just said nothing but great things about it, you know, nothing but good stuff, just told you all the good stuff. You're going to go buy it. Then you're going to come back to my video and you're going to comment a bunch of questions that I don't have time to answer. How did you do this? How did you do this? How did you do that? How do we do this? And then you're going to be, and if I don't answer, you're going to be all on the internet looking for different people to solve these different issues for you with this particular unit. So I'd rather be as like transparent as possible about what my experience has been with this unit than actually, just gassing it like everybody else is. I'm not trying to like dunk on it either. I just want to be completely honest about and I'm going to get to the good stuff here in just a second. It probably sounds like I'm just crapping on this thing at this point. Like, why would I buy this? But I think it's still good for that. It's just a lot of it's these questions that people are asking that is kind of bringing these things out. From an engineering side, it's frustrating. And I'm a techie, so you have to take what I'm saying with a grain of salt. Again, just be my boy. Be like my guy. Turn your brain off. I'm making 3 beats on the way to like Chili's, my dog. Like, just do that. Just turn your brain off and make music. Just turn your brain off and make music. That's it. I'm a nerd. I'm a software developer. I am a guy on the internet that's just running my mouth about something that I've had for 2 weeks before it even dropped. So that's just what I am. And so you can take what I say with a grain of salt, but I'm just being honest about what my experience has been. Yeah, I think if you're needing the MPC live, the MPC one for live is OD. Like for trying to do tracks, just to run tracks live, it's just it's a DAW in the box. And it's a DAW with a very specific workflow. It's not like Logic workflow. You know what I mean? MPC workflow, it's a DAW in the box. The it's not like a Logic or Ableton workflow. It's closer. It does have like clip mode. That's kind of like Ableton though. Once you get into it, but you gotta learn MPC. You gotta learn it. And for live, using an MPC one is really OD because unless you're going to use that as a loop machine to run stems, to run loops, and to like play your sound, use it as a module to like play your sounds and stuff as well. You're really like it's really OD for like live use. So this, if you just want to pull up to church on Sunday and go, you know what I mean? And then song 3, then a bump. Is this your king? This is it. This is this is the joint for you to really like get down and dirty. If you just want a simple loop machine, um, this is probably for you to like get down and dirty. We're gonna get. I promise y'all got questions. I'm trying to get to like some actual like use of it, show you guys how to like actually create with it. But I do want to answer these questions because this. I know people have questions about this thing. With most of this stuff, I'm sure there will. I definitely think there will be some improvements. They dropped two. They dropped two firmware updates in the last week. You know, I got one when I got it. I got it 2 weeks ago. I got it 2 weeks before it dropped. There was a firmware update on it as soon as I got it, like 2 weeks before it dropped. And then there was another firmware update on launch day. So yeah, they're pretty much on it and fixing bugs and stuff. What do you think the 5 biggest cons of this unit is? I think I've covered them pretty solid. If I had to give, I don't know if there's five. Um, the size, again, iPad, the size, the build quality, it's a little bit, it's small. And because it's small, like there's not a lot of room for like a lot of buttons and all those things like that. So everything is done with shift. I find myself when creating, when I've like not like doing loops, like loops is pretty simple, but like actually trying to do a vibe, do a joint, I find myself getting lost in the shifting, if that makes sense. Like shift, I gotta press this. Oh man, I went to this pad. You know what I mean? I'm on this pad with this loop or this whatever thing or whatever. Oh snap! I need to go back to the previous bank. I can either bank to get back, or I can hold shift and hit pad bank and go backwards. Yeah. Or I just want to save that sample. How do I save the shift save sample? Or I want to turn the metronome off. Shift, turn the metronome, tap tempo. I want to change my input configuration. Shift sample. I want to do step edit. Shift sequence. I want to activate that compressor. The shift compressor. Shift pad 7. You know what I mean? I don't know what I just did, but let me undo that though. You know what I mean? So it's a lot of shifting. That's probably one con for me, you know, that when you're really trying to get down and dirty and really get complex, it gets a little cumbersome with all of the shifting sometimes trying to like build. That's probably con number one. Con number two is probably for me, the file system is very frustrating to work with. Um, the file system is very frustrating. That might be my number one con, if nothing else. Even if I threw everything else away, the number one con would be the file system, and how to get files on and off the unit is quite frustrating. It's quite frustrating, you know, in some cases, but it has a lot built in, right? It's a lot of samples. It's a lot of kits built in that allow you to be creative. But once you want to get custom with it, which most of us do, you know, it's cool to use the stuff that's on board, but I want to bring in my joints. I want to like have my samples that I've loaded from Splice I got folders. I got probably hundreds of folders on my computers with samples in them from everywhere, not just from Splice, from everywhere. I've been producing and doing music and creating for almost 2 decades. So I have stuff. I opened up a folder this morning that I forgot about that I had, and it was stuff. It was loop, every sample in there was from 2014. I looked at the timestamp on. I'm like, dang, I got samples. That these samples are 12 years old. That's dope. Praise the Lord. I've been at it for a minute. But getting these files on and off was a little bit frustrating. I wish there was like a manager or something like that. Like they had some kind of official mode when I plug this up to the USB and it's open up the Akai manager software thingamajig. And now I can just drag and drop files off the unit because it's in that mode or whatever. You know what I mean? Kind of like on MPC, there's on regular MPC, there's a computer mode, controller mode, you can put it in, and then you can start sending files back and forth between the computer and the MPC in seconds. Like They have SD card access mode, but it's just funky. It's just really funky. I wish that the file system frustration is very high on my list. Um, Apart from that, the screen is small too, because this unit is small by itself. Again, reference iPad Mini, MPC sample. So the screen is small. Where it's most of the time, like if I go in sequence mode, like you guys can look at this on this camera and pretty much make out what's on that screen. That's cool. I can look at that in a glance and I can figure out where it is, what's on the screen. This mode is cool. Sample mode is cool. I don't find myself straining on that. Where it gets straining is when I'm selecting a sample. So if I go to um, just an empty pad and I hit select sample select, right? That text is so small, like so small. As small as it looks on the screen is as small as, because I'm telling you what I'm looking at on my screen to see how like that is the size of, like, it is one to what you're seeing, what I'm seeing on my screen is 1 to 1 the size of this MPC sample. Like, that text is small. And then when I get in and I'm trying to find a sample, let me go back to my internal. That's small, bro. Like, all of this screen real estate, they could have made this or given us a way to make this bigger. You know what I mean? Like a zoom screen zoom something or whatever that could make this just bigger. You know what I mean? Text on the screen. That's really small. And then when you go into your samples, they're really small. And so what happens is, actual workflow, I'm doing this the whole time when I'm trying to find a sample, because I'm old. I'm an old man, you know, and I got old man eyes, and I ain't got them 20-year-old eyes and them teenager eyes. And so I'm doing this the whole time when I'm trying to like find a sample or actually read something like in that space. That's a con. Um, Apart from that, that's pretty much it. I don't have. I've probably said a couple of other things on the stream, but I think they're all linked in around the same thing. If I had to really like lay it out, it's probably three things. The screen size can be cumbersome. The workflow with all of the shifting can be very cumbersome. And the file system is frustrating to work with. You know what I mean? Like exporting files, importing files, loading files into, bigger MPs, sending files from a bigger MP down to this. Um, yeah, I'd say that those are the biggest cons of this particular unit. I would have to say that, if I had to be honest with you guys. But it's not those most. There's a lot of, you figure out workarounds. Like if you start using it for any given point of time, after a few days, you kind of figure out what you can do with it. And there's a whole, like, my homeboy sent me a video this morning of somebody that had synced the clock, the internal MIDI clock, to Ableton, so that when he presses uh, record or play start on the MPC, it automatically starts playing in Ableton, and he's able to. So if he creates a track, creates a beat over here, sequences out something real quick, and he just wants to drop those drums into Ableton, he's got it synced up through MIDI clock, and he can literally just press play, press record in Ableton, and it syncs like holistically, and he can go ahead and record that loop in as an audio track in seconds. That's dope. Like, it can be used as a MIDI controller. I showed that earlier on the stream. You can record straight into a DAW, but works as an audio interface. That's dope. Um, Down and dirty, just being able to create. The effects are cool. Like, it's a lot of really good stuff in this unit that I think warrants the price tag that it is. But it's not. Those are the three things that I would have to say are the bad. Are the bad. So if you can take and deal with like a 1986 workflow for adding samples in and out and sampling and file structure, if you could deal with that workflow, If that's not a deal breaker for you, that's cool. If hitting shift for every little macro action that you want to do doesn't turn you off because you enjoy the form factor, the size, the sampling capabilities, all of those things, then this unit is definitely fluid for you. Um, and you know what I'm saying? It's basically you have to ask yourself, do the pros outweigh the cons? For me, the pros do actually outweigh the cons. Once I'm able, see, I'm the type of person when I get something, a keyboard, a computer, a whatever, a new plugin, I lock in my presets, I lock in my samples, I lock in everything into that new system, right? And once everything's locked in here, I don't have to deal with the qualms of trying to recreate this, rebuild the system every time I get ready to get down and dirty. Because when I open up the DAW or open up the template or open up the whatever, all of my files are there and I can just create. Over the last couple of weeks, I've been able to like really get all my samples in here. It was very cumbersome, but I was able to get all my samples that I like in here. I was able to get everything kind of in a workflow that I like kind of am comfortable with. And now that I've got that workflow in there, I'm probably not going to be adding anything else into this if I don't have to. Probably not going to be adding any more samples. I might sample some stuff in from my phone if I just need to. I might pull it up in Logic and play a chord to sample it on a pad if I need to or whatever. If I just need something in here like instantly, if I needed something in here, I'm probably going to sample it in. I'm probably not going to like try to use the computer to load it in. And so that kills that frustration. And then the shift thing is just a brain thing. It's just old man brain trying to like lock in, shift this, shift that, shift this, shift that, shift. Oh, low project, shift, save, shift. You know, it's me trying to lock that in. That's a ergonomics thing to figure out, right? Um, the screen is not going to get any bigger, so there's nothing I can do about that. This is just my solution for that. Is just to do this right here so I can see it. You know, even with my progressives on, I can't see it. My little old self. So that's just the situation with that. Let me see. I'm enjoying this though. Actually, what are you seeing? Send me a DM. Send me a DM on what you see or whatever. You just never know. Um, yes, I do. I still think it's worth the price. Like, what's going on? Like, somebody send me a DM. What when I say something? That's the second comment I'm seeing where somebody's selling my stuff. What's going on with this? I'm live trying to figure out what's going on here. Like, a couple of people are sending me saying this or whatever. What's going on? What is this? Dealing with the pirates again, as usual, right? Well, what's going on with this? I'm trying to see. Oh, I've seen best Nor Montana. Okay, okay. All right, I'll deal with that after the live or whatever. Praise the Lord for pirates on the internet, the pirates of the Caribbean. Appreciate y'all shouting them out or whatever. Uh, Size comparison, if you haven't seen it, iPad Mini sample. Like, I hope you can see that. It's about the size of an iPad Mini, a little bit. It's not gonna take up much real estate in your device. So should I pull the trigger on it strictly for you loops in church? Yes, yes. If you want this to run loops in church, yes. I'm about to show you guys that. Um, I hope somehow this old OS they put somehow this OS to live too. Nah, they're not gonna be able to do that. They're not gonna be able to do that. That's never gonna happen with this unit. They're not gonna be able to do that. Yeah, I was talking about the IMPC app. Yep. Uh, IMPC, I'm gonna do a video. IMPC is dope. I used to use IMPC back in the day, and even not even back in the day. They got a version 2 now and a 2 Pro that lets you, like, it's got instruments in it. You can produce, you can lay tracks, then you can export those. You can sample, then you can export those tracks out from your phone. You can sample on your phone, similar to what you can do on here. You can sample. You can do all of that stuff. You can create loops, make stuff. They got packs for it and all of that stuff that you can buy. Then you can export that project into MPC and be able to, like, continue producing the same kind of workflow just with your phone. It's called IMPC. They've had that out for like close to a decade, if not more, probably close to a decade, I think, altogether. I try to be, I try to be honest. XR2 upgrade, yeah, yeah, I can see that. Uh, with the MPC, with the release of the sample, how realistic is it for them to make another portable version? It's just, that would be my opinion. See, it's very functional. It is. I almost posted a video the other day and called this an interesting little toy because it feel when I first got it, that was my initial out the box impression. My initial out the box was, this is an interesting little toy. But as I spent some more time with it, I got into the workflow and I'm like, well, no, it's not a toy. This is a legitimate production tool. And you can get some work done with this. It's really cool. Um, yeah, it's still a dope device. And I think it is. I mean, all the qualms aside, they are selling out of this. For all of the qualms that I've stated on this live, they are selling out. You're probably hard pressed to find one at Guitar Center at this point. Like, they lined up for this joint like Jordan 1, new Jordan release, like a new iPhone release. Like, they got this joint, and then I've been seeing so many celebrities with it. I think I saw Erica Badu yesterday with one. Michael Cox, Jazzy Jeff, everybody's like gas on this. So it probably is. This is probably going to be their best selling thing in the MPC lineup that they probably ever created. I have no doubts about that, because it does offer something very unique and is very different for this particular time frame. I think people are gonna get it. Best, I think it's definitely a best bang for buck, but there's just some little things around it. All right, that's fun. All right, all right, all right, all right, all right, all right. Let's get to the point of what I wanted to come live about, and let's talk about workflow with this particular unit and how we can. If you're a church musician, again, that was my initial jump on here. I very much enjoyed answering all of you guys' questions. Continue to answer those questions. I'm gonna come ask questions as we go along, and I'm going to try to answer those questions as we get by. Now, real quick, for those of you watching, real quick for you guys watching, in case you're interested, just as a matter of fact, I'm gonna put this link in the comment section. I'm gonna put two links in real quick while I kind of buffer myself. One link is to this shirt. If you're interested in this shirt, I play too much. I just dropped this on Amazon. 2-day free, 2-day shipping. Free 2-day shipping on this shirt. I play too much. I got some other ones I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do one for guitar. I'm gonna do one for bass. I'm gonna do one for drums and all of that. But a lot of you, us as musicians. My wife said this to me the other night. I was like, "Yo, that's a shirt. I'm about to do that." I said something crazy to her. She was like, "Yo, boy, you play too much." And I was like, "I actually do. I play keys. I definitely play too much. I definitely play too much." So here we are with the shirt. I play too much. And so if you want to support your boy, go ahead, pick up a shirt so you can let other people know that you play too much. Go ahead, pick that up. Support your boy with the merch. $19, not anything crazy. Free shipping, 2-day shipping at that, because it's on Amazon. So anywhere there's Amazon, you can get it anywhere worldwide. You can get your hands on this, what have you. I play too much. Go ahead and support that. One more thing to support. Let me just get this other link real quick. And that is Patreon, boys and girls. If you did not know, I have a Patreon that's starting to pop off. Let me show you guys this just really quickly. Let me change this to Safari. Go here. Boom. This is my Patreon, boys and girls. You get a free ebook on making music full time by joining Patreon. I just dropped a video this morning showing my YouTube analytics, a deep dive into that, how I make money on YouTube. Put that up there. I have a bunch of free content you get just by joining. How I edit videos and just different questions about this stuff. But we have two tiers. We have the Creator Plus tier, which is $9 a month. That gives you access to my workflow, my how I do videos, how I create, how I stream live. Everything that I'm doing is on the Creator Plus tier. How I create. There's literally, it's getting close to 100 videos on this Patreon of just workflow stuff. Then there's Business Plus that shows you like my business workflow, things that I'm using for customer service, how I'm making money, how I'm building my companies. I have an Ecamm masterclass, that's what I'm using to stream live right now is Ecamm. So I have all kind of stuff over here that you guys can check out that might interest you in helping you along your journey of growing. That is Patreon, boys and girls. Hey, I do this for free for you guys. So, if you want to support your boy. And if not, what you can do that costs you nothing, if you can do this for me real quick, is actually just hit the like button. That doesn't, and subscribe if you're on YouTube. Those things cost you nothing. That doesn't cost you anything but a couple of seconds of your time to just tap the like button, tap the subscribe button. If you're on Facebook, hit the share button. All of those things, they cost you nothing. All right. So let's get into this workflow. I'm going to show you guys why I think this is perfect for the church musician, why the MPC sample is probably the best type of thing if you're a guy that just runs loops for Sunday morning and all of those things like that. The workflow is kind of simple, right? It's an MPC. So, of course, you got samples, where you can be able to load your samples in and do all of those things like that. Load your loops in, all those things like that. So you got... You know what I mean? So if I just wanted to I got my kit loaded up with my samples on it. This is my custom kit. You can get it. It's going to be on johnmike.net. Link is going to be in the description of the video. But it's in here. It's going to have all of my samples in there that you can get. I'm not going to talk too much about that. I'll do a separate video on that. But you can get that. But if I want to get down and dirty, I can jump into a sequence here. Let's say I wanted to do like a quick little worship joint or whatever. Like, let's just do a slow worship. 1, 2, 3, 4. Tap tempo is right there on the unit, right? So that's 78 BPM, right? I've set my sequence. Literally all I got to do is... It quantizes it for me already. Let's add that in there. Let's see what else I want to add in here. So let's say I want to add like some verb to that, like tambourine, right? I can hit shift, I can hit effect select, I can tap that pad, and then I got verb, and I just tap it in. That's on my, what's it called, right? So I can tap that. So let's go back to sample. Now I got some verb on that, right? So now, you know what I'm saying? Let's experiment, maybe some element. Let's experiment with that. Stay right here and go to pad bank 2. These are some elements that I've loaded, some custom elements that I've loaded in. That's interesting. I like that. Let's try that. Okay, I gotta put it in there twice. Got a sequence just that quick. And that can live in my sequences, right? So I have like all the things that's lighting up are sequences. Everything is lit up. This row is not lit up, so there's no sequences on. So I have different loops. Then I got a sequence here on pad 2. Some churches, right? 6/8. Bump. You know what I'm saying? So what's dope about it is because I have these sequences loaded into this project, all of these different loops, I can, if I need a different vibe, I can tap tempo it right here, choose that sequence. Let's say we got this one, right? I need it to be faster. 2, 3, 4. It's going to change it to 157. Same sequence. And that can happen in real time. You know what I mean? So it can be whatever I need for it to be, you know what I'm saying, just by doing tap tempo. And I can load all of these sequences across multiple pad banks. This is just pad bank A, and this is under sequence. I can add up to 8 banks worth of sequences. So that's 128 sequences that I can have in one project. So I could literally have unlimited loops basically at my fingers. And you know how church flows. You get a couple of different kind of type vibes. You can do that. So the dope thing about sequence mode on the MPC sample is that you can choose to have a global BPM, which means everything conforms to the global BPM that you set. So setting the BPM, you hold down button 1 and I can change it, let's say 109, right? And I got it set to global. So no matter what sequence I load, it's gonna play at that BPM, at that global BPM. But I can also choose to do BPM as sequence. So if I choose BPM sequence, now each sequence can have its own BPM. That means every pad can trigger a different BPM. So 98, 99, 2000, 200, if I want to go that fast, 157, you know, whatever your taste is, you can make that BPM whatever it needs to be for that particular thing. So laying out a set, you can load a project, loading your loops in there and be able to have everything there. And once you've created your kind of vibe with all of your tracks and stuff in it, you could easily, you know what I'm saying, get down and dirty and create a track on the fly if you needed to. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's super dope. And that's why I say if you're the guy that's been rocking a 2000, a 1000, an OG MPC, and you're the guy that's using that, this kind of takes it to a different level. You can also load in like your own samples to the pad. This is something I was experimenting with earlier. I can go to, let me just go to a brand new pad bank, right? I'm gonna go to pad bank C. And you can also access your banks by like holding down the pad bank button and jumping this way. You know, I can jump to a pad bank just by doing that or whatever. So we'll just jump to C, right? So in pad bank C, I can hit here. I can go into my sample select, right? My external, and I can jump into the folder here with my samples. And I'm just gonna go down to I have a folder called My Clicks, right? And so I got my clicks in here that I've loaded in, similar like I would do in like Ableton, right? So these are just some old clicks that I've got that's been on my computer forever. But let's just use this one as an example. Or maybe let's use this one. So I'm gonna load that sample onto this pad. So if I come back here, now that sample is on that pad. You know what I mean? So I can manipulate this sample either way. So I can shrink the time of it or whatever. But what's dope about this is I can hit loop. There's a literal loop button just right here. Just hit loop. And when I play this sample on this pad, it will just loop continuously, especially if I've already set this as a loop. It's just gonna loop and loop until I stop it. So you can see the progress going right there. So when it gets to the end of that, it's gonna loop. 1, 2, 3, and it'll just keep looping, right? What's also dope about this, I got that set to loop. I can also warp this like I would in Ableton to make this any BPM that I need for it to be. So I could easily hit shift, it's pad 15, which is warp, and I can change it to time stretch mode. And then when I go into tune, I can change this to sequence. So whatever the global BPM is, that's what this sample is going to play back as. So if I trigger the sample now at this BPM that's blinking, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, it's going to trigger at that. Right? So if I slow it down, and I got a bump. You know what I'm saying? So I could easily like load in a bunch of loops on a pad and be able to trigger them from the pads like I would in Ableton, right? We do that on Sundays and stuff anyway. Like if you're an Ableton user and you're triggering, you either got an APC Mini or you've got a some kind of pad controller that you're just hitting the button, you're tapping the pad, hitting the play button. Same workflow that we're all used to. That's why I say this could be that. This could be song 1. And that's a weak track, but I can just go back and just grab something that's, you know what I'm saying? Let's just grab this and put this on there. Let's say that's song 2, right? And then let's say that's song 3. Now I got 3 songs in here, or 3 sequences, 3 samples in here of those songs. We got that, right? And then I can adjust the volume of it with this fader. You know what I'm saying? And again, we turn on warp. And then make sure that they're set to the sequence. And I cover all this in my little masterclass. I cover all of this in my masterclass. So now, or you know what I'm saying? So you can load your files in just like that and be able to trigger them from a pad. Now the difference is you're not using the play button. You would just be using the stop button and you'd have to press it twice. Just double tap. So it's a workflow that you could use. But I would much rather just create my own. I'm gonna erase these. I would much rather just create my own sequences, but I just wanted to show that as a workflow because that's something that you could definitely do, especially if you're the type of guy that likes the Ableton workflow. You could load all of your clicks over into the MPC sample, and then you could be able to choose them at whim. But I could easily go over here into sequence mode. You can have change the time signature. You can even put a swing on your tracks. You can do whatever you need to do to be able to build out your loops on here and then keep them on your, on your person. And so again, I think this is really, really dope for church, especially if you're used to that MPC workflow and working that. This is a pocket MP that you can take and carry in your bag. It doubles as an interface. Like I said earlier, it works for all of those, different scenarios that you can probably put them in. And then the fact that it has a little built-in speaker on it, you can sit out in your car on your break in between rehearsal or whatever, and you can literally bang out a loop really, really quick once you got all your stuff loaded in there, what have you. So that's pretty much, my workflow and how I would use this in a church setting or what have you. So let me know what you guys think. All right, so let me see what you guys are talking about. So let's keep digging in. I want to be on for a little bit longer. I've been on almost 2 hours. I don't think I've been on this long, but I'm gonna try to answer some more questions about this that you guys might have. And locking in, my man says that he is coming Sunday. Yes, sir. Major Goldman said that's clutch. Yes, sir. Um, can I keep it the same pitch when changing the tempo? Yes, I believe so. I was working with a sample earlier. What did I do with that? Let me go back here. There's something in the settings. I'm gonna do a video. I have to come back and do another video on it because there's something in the settings that allows you to do that. But you can also, let me turn off that verb because it seems to be on everything. Uh, uh, Like I can also adjust the, you can also adjust the pitch that way, just on the unit. But I have to look at that and see how we can lock that in. But for some reason, with that particular loop that I was warping, it changed the pitch of it or what have you when it was changing the tempo. But there's also a pitch mode too. I need to experiment with that a little bit more. I'll be honest. How to erase a bad take without holding the shift in record mode. That's easy. You just hit so if I'm recording, right? Create a new sequence. And how you create a new sequence is, or get to a new sequence, you're by default you're in sample mode. You hit the sequence mode, and then each pad becomes a sequence or what have you. What it's meant to be is like almost like building a song. You know what I mean? So each pad could be a part of the song, your verse, your chorus. But I like to use it in BPM sequence mode and global mode. If you were building a song, you would keep ideally you would keep the BPM at global. So that way every part or the loop is different. And then there's a song mode that you can put it in. If I hit shift and pad 12, it puts it in song mode. And then I can actually add in all of the parts of the song in a range, basically, in this part. Um, that's pretty much what that's about. And then you can export the song as a song from here. That's pretty cool, but that's like more of a production workflow than a church workflow. It doesn't really work for that. I thought I could use this as a set list kind of type thing, and it doesn't work like that. You could, but you would have to like make your sequence like super duper long, like a crazy like 200 bars or something crazy like that. You'd have to make it really, really crazy to where it doesn't get to the end of the sequence before you end the song, because if it ends the sequence in this mode, it's going to automatically jump to the next sequence, in that row or what have you. So you don't want that happening, which would be just really weird. So there's not really a set list mode. So you'd have to jump in sequence and build your loops across sequences, which is cool. So that's what I've done, is a different BPM on each one of these. You know what I'm saying? Let me, my disk space is getting low. So I don't lose this live. Let me jump over here real quick and play some space on my computer. I know this. Yeah. And I'm gonna answer some more questions here. Just gotta do that real quick. There we go. All right, we're still rolling. We're still live. Yep. All right, how to erase a bad take. So I'm in sequence mode, right? And let's just say, and then I'm going, and let's say that's a bad take, whatever. You just hit shift, again, these shift actions, and hit undo, and it just undoes it. Now she's gone. So that's how you do that. You don't have to hold down the thing on each one of those every time you do something or whatever. I'm asking more about if I mess up that hi-hat and need to erase it like a regular MP. Yeah, they don't have an overdub mode, in the sense of that. Yeah, it's not like that. You're just you couldn't that I know of. I don't see overdub on here. It's literally just sequence record. So the only options you have to really create whatever. So if I'm building that or whatever, and I'm over here, and let's say I'm trying to play this, but I don't like that. The only option, so for instance, because I recorded that, if I hit shift undo, it's gonna delete everything. So I would just hold down erase and just hold it for the duration of that loop. Now it's gone, and then I can record something else. So on and so forth. That's pretty much how that works, if that makes sense. It's pretty cool for that kind of thing. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So that's, in a nutshell, the MPC sample. You know what I mean? That's pretty much the workflow. It's a Pocket MP, and it's really simple. You can literally get straight out the box and just record, edit, make a loop, make a vibe. It's really intuitive for all of its little small, things, problems that it causes along the way for different functions that you're trying to handle. My biggest thing is, like I said earlier, is the shifting. As you could probably even notice, I'm a little slow moving around it, and I've had it for almost a month. but I still get hung up on some features of remembering shift this or shift that. That's a workflow thing. I just need to keep working with it, and I'm pretty sure I'll get more competent with it. But it's a little hectic sometimes moving around it, especially when I'm used to the bigger MP, and I'm used to like really kind of flying with that and overdub mode, like you mentioned earlier, and other things like that. Um, it's interesting, and it's a good interesting, not even a bad interesting. If you have the money, the little disposable 300-400 bucks to like throw at something like this, it's not a bad buy. You're going to get your money's worth. The big answer to the question is it worth the money? The answer is yes. It's absolutely worth the money that you would spend on it. If you spend 400 bucks on it, you're going to get value out of this little thing. You're going to get a ton of value out of it. I don't think it's nowhere near worthless or useless. You know what I'm saying? It's definitely worth the money, but there's just like a lot of little small thing in every piece of software, every piece of hardware, every piece of those different things are all come with their problems and their issues and all of those things. You know what I'm saying? So that's pretty much my take on it. If you guys got any more questions, let me know. I got questions. I'm gonna stick around for a couple of more minutes. Let me know if you guys got any other questions, and I'll jump on. Otherwise, what you guys can do for your boy is you can support me on Patreon. Dropping the Patreon link in there. Let me drop it in for my Facebook folks because I don't think I did it for them. Uh, Let me get in here and put it in there for the Patreon folks. I thought I copied it. I guess I did not. Put it in here for the for the Facebook folks that's watching to support your boy on Patreon. Why won't it let me? I don't know why it won't let me paste over here on Facebook. Whatever. Jump on Patreon. And also for you guys, if you're interested, this shirt is also for sale. The I Play Too Much shirt. Make sure y'all check that out. That'll help out your boy a little bit for what I do. But I'm not going to hold you guys too much longer. I've been on for a couple of hours. This has been fun. I've been able to record and answer a crap ton of questions about this that I hope you guys were able to get some value out of it. So I'm going to hop on off, and I guess I'll talk to all you guys, good folks, later. This has been fun. Feel free to hit me up about some questions that you guys may have on the side, and I'll be glad to answer those for you guys. All right, I'm out. Holla at your boy.